Welcome back to The Careful Diver. My name is Juji Carminati. Thank you for tuning in. Today, 20 boat-iquette tips, boat etiquette advice on how not to be a jerk on a dive boat. Let's start with the basics. Show up on time. On time doesn't mean when the boat leaves. On time means a good 30, 45, 60 minutes before the boat leaves, because you need to make sure that your gear is assembled, it's all there. Maybe you need to rent gear, maybe you need to analyze tanks, you need to sign waivers. Don't be the person that shows up at the last minute. It's just annoying. Second tip, bring a mesh bag, not a full dive bag. You will not have the space. You will be obnoxious and take up everybody else's space. And I actually have a link to mesh bags that I absolutely love. I use them and they are very resistant, and that link is down in the description. Number 3, keep your gear contained. Boats have a lot of people going and coming and jumping off and getting back on the boat. You don't want to leave your gear all over the place. Your gear goes under your seat. You're going to have a seat at a bench with your 2 tanks, 1 or 2 tanks, usually 2, and you should have your gear, to the extent possible, in the mesh bag, corralled under there, or just under there. Some boats will give you a milk crate to use. That's fantastic. You should use that. Number 4, listen to the safety briefing or boat briefing. You need to know where the life jackets are. You need to know where the O2 kit is. You need to know how, if the ladder is a fins on or fins off ladder. You need to know how the boat functions, generally speaking. So hush up and listen to the dive or safety briefing. Number 5, during roll call, listen for your name and only answer for your name. Don't answer for your buddy, for your partner, for your friends, whoever it may be. This is a safety issue. You're going to have to listen for your name not only at roll call when you leave the dock, but you're also going to have to listen for your name and only answer for your name when you come back on board after the dive, because that is the way the captain or the dive master accounts for everyone being back safely. Number 6, don't touch anyone else's gear. Number 7, don't touch anyone else's tanks. Number 8, don't touch anyone else's food or drinks. You see the pattern? Don't touch other people's stuff. So when you have a dive boat, there's usually a cooler, and the operator will sometimes include foods and drinks for people to eat, and that's fantastic. Help yourself. But if it's somebody else's food and drinks, hands off, not yours. Number 9, return the analyzer when you are done testing your gas. It's really annoying when somebody analyzes their gas and then leaves the analyzer right next to where they are, and then everybody else is running around and asking where it is. So take it, analyze your tanks, and then put it back, which actually brings me to point number 10. Analyze both your tanks and check the pressure on both your tanks before you leave the dock. Just 101. That way you don't cause any problem or issues. And if there is an issue, you can raise it when people can still do something about it. Number 11, keep your weight secured. It's very annoying when 2, 4, 3, 5 pounds fall on someone's gear or someone's toes. So your weights go underneath your seat or on your body. That's about it. All other options are not fantastic. Number 12, listen to the dive briefing. Now that's different from the safety or boat briefing. The dive briefing is going to give you direction, the current, the strength of the current. If there's any issues about visibility, it's going to give you the length of the dive, the depth of the dive. It's going to give you whether you have to go with a dive master, whether you're following your buddy, who your buddy is going to be. So pay attention. These are all very important things, and they will be given to you during the dive briefing. Number 13, be ready to jump when it is time. You do not gear up when people start jumping. You gear up ahead of time so that when people start going into the water, it is an efficient and quick process, and the dive can begin for everybody. There are very few things that are more annoying than being in the water and waiting because someone is just putting on their wetsuit. It's just frustrating. Number 14, throw up downwind and off the side of the boat. Look, throw up happens. You're on a boat, you get seasick, it's okay. That's not a big deal. But you want to make sure that you don't, in the process, make anybody else sick, and don't leave your mess for somebody else to clean up. Number 15, Make sure that when you jump into the water, whether it's through a giant stride or a back roll, nobody is under you. So just give it one last glance down, and make sure that nobody is there and you're not going to jump on anybody by accident. Number 16, when you come back from the dive, get up the ladder, get off the ladder, no loitering. Everybody else is trying to get back on the boat. People don't want to be in the water longer than they need to be, so hustle up. Number 17, respect the dive profile. I see that a lot. It's annoying, okay? Respect the depth, respect the time, respect the gas consumption. Don't take a 1 hour dive when everybody else is doing 45 minutes. Don't just presume that if your tank is still full, you get to eke out every last bar or PSI of gas because you just wanna, okay? The crew and the DM are trying to keep everybody on schedule, and they're trying to get people in and out of the water safely. So please respect the dive briefing and the dive profile. Number 18, don't blast your gas. So look, back in the day, they used to teach us that in order to dry the cap that covers the first stage, you had to blast the air from your tank into it. Okay, it's unpleasant. It actually aerosolizes the water, so it makes things worse, and it's entirely unnecessary. You can just blow into the little cap, cover up the first stage, and you're done. Just, we can move past that. Number 19, don't rinse or drop your gear into the camera bucket. Every dive boat is going to have one bucket for the masks and the snorkels and the various things that we want to rinse, and then one bucket for the cameras. The camera bucket is sacrosanct, no contamination. Don't drop anything else in there. And number 20, if this is a 2-tank dive, when you come back up, one of the first things you're going to do is switch your gear from one tank, the one you just used, to the fresh tank. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't wait until the end of the surface interval to do that. Again, it's annoying. So those are 20 Boat-iquette tips. And I wanted to add one last one. And I don't really think it's an etiquette thing. I think it's just the right thing to do. It's not even about being a jerk. It's just fair. So remember to tip your crew, your captain, and your dive master. You may be shocked to learn this, but it's not actually a very lucrative job. People who are in these professions do it because they truly love doing it. They love being on the water, and it's a vocation. So tip them. And if the service was extraordinarily good or especially good, tip them a little extra. And if you happen to not follow my advice and show up without cash, no worries. Ask if they have Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. A lot of dive operators and especially dive masters now have their Venmo QR code available for you to go ahead and tip from your phone with no need to have cash with you. All right, that's it. Those are my 20 Boat-iquette tips plus one human decency tip. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. I'm the Careful Diver, Juji Carminati, and as always, dive safe.